Greetings everyone. This is the follow-up post about the distinct lack of training and empathy and humanity in the current law enforcement culture and community, instructions, policies, all that stuff. Um, Perfect example is we had in Aurora, Colorado, a gentleman who was a Vietnam vet, awarded numerous commendations, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and then after that he worked as a federal employee, federal agent, I believe. Um, Sitting in his house, minding his business, he gets his door kicked in by a, who knows, no other way to really describe it, a raving naked man who immediately goes to the bathtub and begins to try to drown his grandson. All right, so while he's drowning his grandson, his son comes out and is trying to fight this guy off, and the grandfather comes out. He's trying to fight him off. The grandfather is Richard Black Jr., Dick Black, and the grandfather and this son are trying to wrestle off this maniac who's trying to drown their, youngest one in the tub. So after that, the grandfather says, I guess enough of this. He goes off, gets his firearm, deals with the naked one in the bathroom, and he turns and sees there's more people bum rushing the house. So he deals with them too. His wife leaves and calls the cops. The cops show up. Prior to the cops arriving, a explicit description is given of the intruder and Dick Black. After the police arrive, the police shoot into the house. Didn't issue any commands, or the reports say, and didn't enter the house. They shoot into the house at Dick Black in his house. So he winds up being murdered by the police. And it's just really crazy because he would have been better off not calling the cops, really. I mean, there's a very good argument for that. And the cops did nothing to help the scene. I advise people all the time just call police for reporting scenarios. You don't want the police to show up when something's going bad because, as I stated earlier, everything to a hammer is a nail. The cops were in danger outside, so why did they use lethal force? I don't understand. A basic tenet of firearm training is that you know what is your target you're shooting at and what is beyond your target. You can't ascertain that from shooting outside. And as a cop, you're supposed to identify and give commands. You're supposed to use that as a force element, as a spectrum of force, prior to using lethal force. So this is just another perfect example of the lack of training, the fear that cops run around with every day, and the biggest thing they always look out for is I'm going to go home before anybody else, and that's not even a question. So whatever they have to do, they go home every night, and that means killing you, killing your dog, killing your sister, flashbanging your little girl on the couch. They're going to go home safe because they come with overwhelming force, and they lay everything down. So that's something you want to consider. Do you want to put your safety and the ones you love in the hands of others? Because if they did that, that little boy wouldn't have been drowned. Two grown men trying to fight off this naked assailant in their house couldn't stop him. One had to go get a firearm. He was able to stop him. And the other intruders, that's another thing I always talk to people about. Oh, why do you need a firearm? Why do you need this magazine capacity? Well, if there's 5 people bum rushing, you're probably going to need more than 3 shots. 5 shots, 10 shots, 20, 30, who knows? Because they're going to be moving around. That's just something to think about, all right? When people do home invasions, they usually don't come by themselves. They come with a crew. But, if you live in a Candyland world, you haven't experienced life, you might not know about these things. So go get some training. Go make sure that you are armed and ready with your stuff when you need it. And make sure that you're able and willing to use it when it is necessary. Because without that little boy would have been dead. Maybe the grandfather and the son. So it could have been 3 generations of men dead in that house without a firearm. Sadly, it was one man that was killed. He shouldn't have been killed anyway. But, something to think about. So how important is your life? How important are your loved ones? And what are the steps you're doing to ensure that you can keep living and loving the people you care about? All right. Let's hear your thoughts and feedback. Hit me back with messages, replies, whatever. But there really needs to be a culture change in the way that police view what they do, quote unquote, policing, and how they interact with the public. That's part of the job. If you can't do the job, then go find another job. But you need to interact in dangerous and dynamic situations in a professional and clear-minded situation where you're not harming innocents. It's just that simple. If you are going around harming innocents, then you shouldn't be doing anymore, and they should be held accountable. If the police system's not able to do that, then another system needs to be instilled. So that's dismantling and using a new institution to take care of protecting people from the ground up, then that's what it needs to be. But people should be dying after they've already defended outside threats. The police show up, they think that they're to help, and they shoot, the grandfather. That's ridiculous. This beyond any level of reason or explanation. Yeah, that's it. Have a good day, and always remember, bring success from within. Peace.